It's Zena, your best friend who loves horror, back in the horror library. Guys, I would like to talk today about the top horror movies released in January. In the month of January in general, for some reason, when it comes to movies being released, not just horror movies, it just has such a bad reputation. Like, people refer to this month as the dumping month. Like, rude. And I don't believe that, because a lot of great things happened and will happen in the month of January. For starters, a gorgeous, magical, chocolate, intelligent, charming, foxy woman was born in the month of January. Some people refer to her as real queen of horror. Some even refer to her as the real queen of the universe. Who knows? I don't. But that is actually just another conversation for another time, okay? We're just gonna be talking about movies, horror movies released in January. Aww. Seriously, it really does bum me out that people refer to this month as the dumping month, because I feel like we receive like a mixed bag, just like any other month. Sometimes we have great movies, sometimes we have ones that are okay, sometimes we have ones that's not so okay, but that's okay. The point is, I just thought it'd be cool if I uplifted the month of January, because there is so much seriously to love about this month. We all deserve a fresh start, and that's what to me January is all about. So I'm gonna be sharing with you guys my top 5 horror movies released in the month of January. The first movie I want to start with, I want to keep it kind of recent, and we're going to be starting with Wrong Turn from 2021, and this movie was just released last year on January 26, 2021. Jen and a group of friends set out to hike the Appalachian Trail. Despite warnings to stick to the trail, the hikers stray off course and cross into land inhabited by the Foundation, a hidden community of mountain dwellers who use deadly means to protect their way of life. Just how I was saying earlier, when it comes to different months, you know, with horror releases, that it's a mixed bag, I feel like the Wrong Turn series is a mixed bag. But I do personally think that this series, it really did need the revival, you know, because after a while it was just becoming way too silly. With this version, if you haven't checked it out, I really do feel like it is genuinely suspenseful. It's creepy. It actually left me on the edge of my seat. Like, no, literally, I was sitting at the edge of my seat. I just felt comfortable sitting that way. But then also just because, you know, I didn't know what was gonna happen. What's gonna happen? It's just like I had to obviously watch to find out. So moving right along, I want to talk about Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night from 1995, which was released on January 13th, 1995. A man on the run is hunted by a demon known as the Collector. So I'm so proud to say that this movie was released in January. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but I absolutely love my horror movies when they have buckets and buckets of blood. And this movie does not disappoint when it comes to the blood. Along with this movie, Tales from the Crypt Ritual is actually my favorite. So I love these two movies and I hold them up so high. And what a coincidence that this movie, Demon Night, was released in January. I previously spoke about Tales from the Crypt Demon Night in my video, Top Black Final Girls in Horror from last year. So, and there's like zombies that have silver eyeballs. Silver eyeballs! I won't really go into too much detail or anything like that, but this is something that needs to be said. Spoiler, when it comes to the character Geraldine, she is everything. She is the final girl. She is so awesome. She's smart, she's strong, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to survive. And not only that, she has the will to survive. It's just amazing. Like, obviously she's the final girl, but she's also just the last person standing in the boarding house, and I love that for her. I've always rooted for her. She's just a very much relatable final girl. She's not the one that's perfect and, you know, oh no, my daddy, you know what I mean? Like, Geraldine has a past, you know, she has a past, and even the reason why she's at the boarding house kind of working is because of what she's done in her past. And on top of that, with Geraldine, I've always wanted to be her as a kid. I mean, there's a lot of people I actually wanted to be as a kid. When I think about it, I mean a lot, but she's like top 10 on that list. This movie overall, it's just such a good time. There's demons, there's goo, there's buckets and buckets of blood, there's cool music. Billy Zane is in this and he's so awesome. There's a sponge that comes out of his mouth. Like, this movie has it all. So next, I want to talk about the Turkish horror Baskin from 2016, and this movie was released in the US January 1st, 2016. A squad of unsuspecting cops go through a trapdoor to hell when they stumble upon a black mass in an abandoned building. Words cannot describe how much I freaking adore this movie. I remember when I first watched it a couple of years ago, I went in kind of blind. I saw the poster and I thought the poster looked like awesome, but I was not prepared for this movie at all. It is very much a slow burn horror, and I kind of forgot around that time how much I love slow burn. I kind of forgot how much I adored slow burn horror movies, and this movie reminded me. And I'll never forget now, like ever. When it comes to this movie, there's 4 things that you need to remember, and they all start with an S, because I care about you. We're right here. I'm your bestie, you're my bestie, so. Stylish. This movie is visually freaking stunning, okay? It reminds me of a Mario Bava film, especially like the color palette. When it comes to it visually, it actually reminds me of a Nicholas Winding Refn's film, and it's just like, because his films are always like beautiful, regardless of how you may feel about his movies, because whenever I mention him, like, people want to fight me. Like, fight yourself. Fine, chilling. There is a lot of dark stuff that's in this movie, and there's so much that's coming at you as the viewer. There's like a demonic cult, there's cannibalism, there's carnage, and again, there's a lot of gore. So kind of think like Lucio Fulci's like old school type of feel when it comes to like the gore and blood. Sinister. So this movie does not hold back at all. If you want something that may get under your skin, I highly recommend that you check this out. There are chain bodies, as an example, that are hanging from like blood printed smeared walls everywhere. It's disturbing to see, but I know it's a horror movie and you expect there to be blood, but it just blends in so well. Like, this is the world that you're in. Oh my God. And the last thing, sadistic. There's a particular line that lives in my mind and lives in my ear holes rent free. A character says, "Hell is not a place you go. You carry hell with you at all times." So the tormentor actually said this to the victim. Even what comes after that, it is very brutal. So that line just always just stuck with me. So, but yeah, again, I can keep on going about this movie. I speak so highly of it because it really did creep me out. And if you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it, especially if you love dark, twisted, unexpected, supernatural, pure nightmare fuel. Moving along, we're going to be talking about Paranormal Activity, the Marked ones from 2014, which was released on January 3rd, 2014. When a young man becomes the target of a malevolent entity, he must uncover its true intentions before it takes complete control of him. I know when it comes to the Paranormal Activity series, some people aren't like too crazy about it or anything like that, but you know what? You know who is? Me. I am. And I really enjoy this Paranormal Activity. This one is actually one of my favorite ones. It just kind of felt different from the other ones. It felt fresh, it felt relatable, especially with the characters. It kind of felt like I was watching more of a Hardy Boys type of mystery, you know, which I don't mind. I love that kind of stuff. And again, it really did take me by surprise because I remember when I went into the theaters to check it out, you know, I just love watching horror movies, like duh. So I don't mind going to the movies. And I remember, you know, not really thinking much of it, and I was blown away because I left the theaters wanting more. I wanted more from those characters. It was just awesome. And it definitely made me feel more excited about the series because at that point it was just like we were getting movie after movie after movie, and then it was just like but then when we got that one, I'm like, oh, spicy. So that's cool. The last one I like to talk about is My Bloody Valentine 3D from 2009, and this movie was released on January 16th, 2009. Tom returns to his hometown on the 10th anniversary of the Valentine's Night Massacre that claimed the lives of 22 people. Instead of a homecoming, Tom finds himself suspected of committing the murders, and it seems like his old flame is the only one that believes that he's innocent. Psst. Yes, you, right there. I have a confession to make. I kind of prefer this one over the original one. Not that I hate the original one, it's just that I really like this one because there's like a lot of blood and it was fast paced, and you know, I just have a thing for 3D stuff, you know? Don't tell anybody. Don't tell them. Okay, let me be honest with you, I don't care if you tell people, I prefer this one over the Canadian 1981 version. Not because I hate that one. I think that that one is cool. It's a good time. I love the kills. I love the energy. But this one, to me, it pays homage to the original one, but it like turns it up like times 100, because the blood, the kills, the gore, the language is just out of this world. Then the fact that they added 3D, because around that time I remember we were getting like some 3D like horror movies and stuff like that. It was just a good time. It just added like a little spice, a little razzle dazzle, and sometimes that's what you need. You just need a little razzle dazzle. All right guys, so that's my list of top horror movies released in January. Let me know some of your favorite January releases. I tried to stick to ones that, you know, I was around for. Otherwise, I would have been giving you, I wanted to give you guys like some movies from the 70s or stuff like that. But there are plenty of made-for-TV, even series that released in January. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. How much I love Slowborn.